Hey geeks, welcome to another video. So today we will be discussing all about pedigree analysis. Before I start with the video, I would like to tell you that there are going to be three parts to my video. So in today's part, we will be understanding about the different inheritance patterns in a pedigree, and I will give you some amazing tips and tricks that you can use to solve the pedigree within no time. And in the second and the third video, we will be discussing questions from CSIR Net as well as GATE. Along with this, there will be another type of question based on probability, which you get very often from pedigree. So those type of questions also we will see how to solve. Another thing is that in the description, I have given you timestamps. So if you're interested in a particular inheritance pattern, you can go to the description and click on that particular section. However, I will advise you to watch the whole video so you get a wholesome idea. Now, without much blabbering, let me start. So firstly, you need to understand some symbols that are used during pedigree representation. So firstly, a circle represents a female, a square represents a male. If you ever find a circle with a dot or a square with a dot, that tells you a carrier. Okay, a carrier. Now, during sex-linked inheritances, we all know that a square with a dot is not possible. Why? Because males can never be heterozygous, they have just one X chromosome, right? The other one, if you find a shaded circle or a shaded square, that often means that that person is diseased or affected. Okay. Now, a circle and a single line joining a male and female represents mating. If you see a double line between the two, that actually means mating between relatives. So mating with between relatives are said to be represented by these double lined things. So now there are many other symbols. However, in all the exams, etc., these are the major ones that you need to remember. Now, let us see the inheritance patterns. So majorly they are divided into three types. First being the autosomal. Now autosomal is further divided into autosomal dominant and autosomal recessive. Okay. The next category is the sex linked. Now sex linked can be divided into two types, that is X linked and Y linked. Lastly, there is a type called as the mitochondrial inheritance. Mostly in this video, we are going to focus on the autosomal and the sex-linked ones. Now, under the sex-linked, you further have X-linked dominant and X-linked recessive. Okay, so these are the different types. Now, next, let us focus on the autosomal dominant. We'll go one by one. So first, let us see the autosomal dominant pattern of inheritance. Now, since the trait is dominant, even one allele will lead to the expression of that particular gene. Correct? So even if you have one dominant allele, the person is going to be diseased. So let us see what are the different genotypes then that are possible. Now, since it is an autosomal trait, I will always represent the dominant by A, capital A as dominant, and small a as the recessive trait. Okay, so the recessive allele is small a and the dominant allele is the capital A. So what genotypes are possible? First possibility is that there is capital A, capital A. Second possibility, capital A, small a. So here one capital A from the father, other capital A from the mother. Here this capital A say from the father, the other one from the mother. What is the third possibility? That the mother gives a small a or we can say the father gives a small a and the mother is giving the capital A here. Okay, so mother. And in the fourth possibility, father as well as mother both give you the small a. So there are four possibilities, right? Capital A, capital A, capital A, small a, capital A, and small a, small a. Now both of these are the same, the second and the third. Now think and tell me, how many of these would be diseased? What we said, dekho, it is dominant. Dominant meaning even one allele will lead to the disease. That means whoever has even one capital A will be diseased. So that means all of these three will be diseased, right? And this one would be normal because he doesn't have or she doesn't have the dominant trait. So what is the probability now? So 3/4, 3 out of 4 children have the probability to be diseased. Now, what are the features of this kind of autosomal dominant pattern? First feature that is important is they appear equally in both sexes. So let it be male, let it be female. The number will be equal. So if you look at a pedigree and you find that there are almost equal number of males and females that are affected, one thing you should right away understand that it is definitely going to be an autosomal trait because an X link affects either one of the sex. Okay. So equal sexes is the first identification mark. Second identification mark about a dominant trait is that they do not skip generations. Now, what do I mean by they do not skip generations? So, say suppose you have this pedigree. Okay, these two got married and they had 2 boys and 2 girls. Okay, now there is this condition A, and let's say this one is happening and this one is condition B. Okay. Now, what you can see is that here none of the parents are affected, but the son has got affected. Here one of the parent was affected, but none of the children are affected. Let us see another pedigree like this. So this is a little longer pedigree. Say now further, this one married an outsider and now there is this child, that is this boy who is deceased. So look here, what happened is that the parents were normal, all children were normal. But when one of the girl got married to someone else who was normal, the son got affected. So can I just say that this trait has skipped a generation? So it was not there here, but now it is there here. Or another, these two are also examples of skipping generation. See, because the parents didn't have the trait, correct? But one of the child has it. Similarly here, the parent has the trait, but the offspring don't have a trait. So this is called as skipping of generation. Now, whenever we talk about dominant, skipping of generation is not a property. Dominant may, if the parents are affected, definitely one child should be affected. So here, when we talk about this is the most accurate example of skipping generation. Why? Because see, parents are not affected at all, but children are affected. Then you will say, but in the second case, the children are not affected. But one thing we have to take into account that parents can be 2, but children can be more than 4, right? So the probability that maybe the 5th child would have the disease can't be neglected. So whenever you're using this formula of skipping of generation, keep in mind to look for the parent. The best way to determine whether generation is skipped is by looking at the parent. So if the parent has the doesn't have the diseased portion, is not diseased, and the child, one of the children is diseased, then you can say that the generation has been skipped. So just remember about that. Here in the B example, maybe this is not an example of skipping generations. Okay. So one, as we were talking, characteristic is it doesn't skip generation. Now that you understood what skipping of generation means, let's go to the third point. What is the third point? That if the parents are affected, so both the parents are affected, then what will happen to the progeny? Let us try this cross. So parent is affected, meaning both the parents are going to be having this kind of trait if they are affected, or even this kind of trait, or even this kind of trait is possible. So if both the parents are affected, definitely all the progeny will be affected. Correct. Let's see if both are, again these are also affected. So what are the possibility? If you draw a Punnett square, you will have capital A over here. So what is the possibility? The possibility, so if I want to write like this, the Punnett square will be like this, right? So capital A, capital A, capital A, small a, capital A, small a, small a, small a. So now if the parent is affected, then there is a chance that three of them would be three of them would be affected, one only would be unaffected. When it is an heterozygous. Okay, when both are homozygous, then all the progeny are definitely affected. So this is about autosomal dominant. Two main distinguishing features that we have saw. First one, they will be equally distributed if it is an autosomal trait. Second thing that we have noticed is that they do not skip a generation, the dominant trait. Now, it is important to understand a few examples of diseases that follow this trait, because if at all in exam they give you the question that this is the disease, you will be able to answer. So first disease that follows this inheritance pattern is the Huntington disease. So now what is the Huntington disease? In this, the amount of CAG codons are drastically increased, and CAG is the codon for glutamine. So there are more number of glutamine, and this causes Huntington's disease. Other examples are the Marfan syndrome. Then you have polydactyly, which is the excess of limb digits, and you have this PTC testing. Now this PTC testing is an important example. PTC is a chemical product compound that can be tasted only by those people who have the receptors for it in their tongue, and not all people have receptors for it on the tongue. So it is a genetic marker. Therefore PTC and Huntington's are very important examples for this category. Chalo. Now let's move on to the next category, that is autosomal recessive. Now autosomal, like autosomal dominant, what can we say? Like autosomal recessive is also going to appear equally in both sexes. Why? Because it is autosomal trait. So one thing is sure, that it is equal appearance in both traits. Okay. Now, next thing that you have to understand is the genotypes possible. So again, you will have genotypes like father will give one A, mother will give the small a, suppose. Let's start with this for a change. Then in the second one, maybe the mother gives the capital A and the father gives the small a. Third possibility, father and mother both giving capital A. Fourth possibility, mother and father both giving small a. Now, since it is a recessive trait, that means it will express only with both recessive alleles. Correct? So here only one genotype will be the diseased one. The rest of them all have at least one capital A. So they are not going to be showing the disease. So they will be normal. But what can we tell about these two? We can say that both of these are actually carriers for the disease. Although they appear normal, they will be carriers, right? So this you have to understand about autosomal recessive. Now, what are the distinguishing characters? First, they equally appear in both sexes. Second characteristic I can say is that they skip generation. So we discussed about skipping generation. Skipping generation means it is there in the parent. So from the parents it is there but not present in the kids, or it was there in the kids, not there in the parents but in the kids. And I told you this is the more reliable one, where the parent actually didn't have the gene but the kids had it, right? So this was the property. Next thing, another thing that you can see is, if the parents are affected, let's see, if both parents are affected, what will be the genotype? Yes, it will be small a, this is say from the father, and other small a from the mother. Now, if you see the Punnett square, you will notice that all the offsprings will be diseased. So, if parents are affected, all offspring should be affected. So, if you ever have a pedigree like this, where both the parents are affected and you see that the children are affected, this is definitely an example of a autosomal recessive trait. Okay, so these are important things that you have to remember. Now, other trait that is possible here is that the individual is affected but the parent is unaffected. What state would be this? Individual affected but the parents are unaffected. Try to draw the pedigree for this. Pause the video. So what is the pedigree for this? That the parents are unaffected like this, but one of the child is somehow affected like this. So what kind of condition this may be? Yes, heterozygous parents. So if the parents are heterozygous, what is going to happen? So AA, you will have this capital A, capital A, small a, small a, small a. So one would be diseased and this is this person. Okay, so this is another way in which you can determine whether the trait is an autosomal recessive one or not. And finally, the distinguishing diseases that follow this inheritance pattern. So first disease is cystic fibrosis. So first disease, cystic fibrosis. Now what is the problem? What is the disorder? In patients with cystic fibrosis, there is a failure of the chloride ion transport mechanism. Write it down. These are important diseases. Next one is albinism. Everybody must be aware of this. Next one, Tay-Sachs disease. So it is a neurodegenerative disease wherein the enzyme hexoaminidase A. So hexoaminidase A is affected. It is basically defected form of this enzyme. Another example is PKU. What is that? Phenylketonuria. And the defective enzyme in this case is phenylalanine hydroxylase. Okay. And then you have other diseases like alkaptonuria. So these are the important diseases with respect to autosomal recessive. Okay. Now with this, we have completed the two dominant, autosomal dominant and autosomal recessive. The third or the second major category, and that we had the sex linked, in that we are doing the X linked. And in the X linked specifically, we are going to do X linked dominant, meaning presence of one allele is also going to cause the disease. Before that, let us understand for a female and a male. Female is XX, male is XY. Now, what are the different genotypes possible? So, for the female, genotypes possible are, first, that both X's are normal. Second, 1X is the diseased allele, okay, the allele that carries the gene for the disease. Third possibility, both of the X's are having the C. Now, since it is a dominant trait, meaning even presence of one allele that carries the defective trait is going to show the disease. So this first one will be normal, whereas the rest of the two are going to be, yes, these will be diseased. In the male, what is the possibility? Either it's an XY or it is an XCY, right? So here this guy will be normal. However, the XCY will be diseased. Okay, so these are the different genotypes that are possible. Instead of XC, you will see that some books they write XA, some will write X capital A for normal. So you can write whatever makes you understand better. Okay, now how do I identify whether this trait is an X-linked or not? So first thing, in any X-linked trait, no, you will see that the males affected are higher number of males affected. We had seen in the autosomal, both sexes, there was an equal probability. Here, the male would have the higher chance. But this is not a quite distinguishing character, because in X-linked recessive also you will find that males are affected higher. So then what is the distinguishing character? Let us understand. So let's look at this pedigree right here. Okay. So in this, the female is affected, and in the progeny, the son is affected, daughters unaffected. Now mating between, sorry, 1 second, huh? So when the mating happens, they have a son who is affected. Now this son marries a normal female, and they have 3 progeny, out of which both the females are affected. Now, let us try and understand what has happened here. See, since the mother is diseased, what does that mean? Definitely, either it should have been this second trait or the third one. Anything is possible. So, either she can have both disease or one, because it is a dominant. He is normal. So, definitely what is going to happen? XCY. Sorry, XY, not XCY. XY, because the male is perfectly normal, and one possibility only for the male to be normal, that is if it has XY. Now, see, if any sex is a male, definitely the Y chromosome comes from the father, right? So for all males, the Y chromosome comes from the father. So what remains is the X chromosome. Now see, this female right here, she can give either the XC, which is the disease allele, or the normal one. Okay, so here obviously since the male is affected, this may be the diseased allele XC. Now what happens is, see, this female is normal, so she is capital X capital X. Now let us try to see, since these females both are affected, what does this mean? So daughters, what will be their sex? So the daughter, since they are affected, that means this XC must have come from the father, and this X must have come from the mother. Again, this XC from the father, this X. So therefore they were affected. But look at the son. Son is particularly normal because the father gave it the Y and mother must have given X. So what is the conclusion here? The conclusion is, look, if you have a diseased father, a affected father, all his daughters will be affected. All the daughters will be affected. Look here, right here, you'll see that this father was completely affected. Therefore, all his daughters were also affected. So this is a trademark of X-linked dominant, that if the father is diseased, he passes on all the daughter, all the disease. Okay. Now, another thing you can see is that if the son has the disease, If the son has the disease, so who is the son? This one here. So if the son has the disease, that by default means the mother has the disease. So if son has disease, you will see mother has disease. So this is another trick to find out quickly whether it is an X-linked. So if you see that father is disease and all daughters are disease, it's S-linked dominant. If you see son is disease and the mother is also disease, then definitely it is again an example of X-linked. Another way to put it is, if all daughters but none of the son is affected and the father is also affected, then it can be an X-linked dominant, combining both point 2 and 3. Okay. Now, what is the example for this? So, two diseases. One is the vitamin D resistant rickets. So, this is one disease that follows this pattern. And second one is called as hypophosphatemia. These are the examples of diseases following this pattern. So, X-linked dominant. Next category is the X-linked, yes, recessive. Now, again, let us discuss about the genotypes. So, for a female, we have XX, or one trait that is affected, or both are affected. Males, either none or the one X is affected. Now, since it is a recessive trait, you would require both alleles to see the disease. So, in these two are going to be normal and this one will be disease, this female. However, one thing to notice is she will be a carrier, right? This one will be a carrier, although she'll appear normal. Here, male may, it's either you have a disease or you don't have a disease. Okay, there is no carrier. Now, let us see what we can understand about the characteristics of this. Firstly, mostly the males are affected, as we discussed for an X-linked, males are affected. Other thing is, since it is a recessive trait, no, it skips generations. We have discussed about this phenomenon before. Next thing that you observe is very, very important. If the mother is affected, if the mother is affected, all her sons will be affected. So mother will pass on the disease to her son. So look at this pedigree. So if you see this, in this case, if the mother is affected, then definitely all the sons would be affected. Mother is affected, so the son will be affected. How? Let us see. So the father is not affected. So he'll be XY only, not XCY, XY just. And mother is affected, meaning there's only one possibility. She's XC. Now always the boy will get the Y from the father. So obviously what is coming from the mother? The X, no? And this X is the diseased X. So therefore, if the mother is affected, all the sons will be affected. Other trademark for this is, if daughter is affected, that means the father was diseased. Let us try and understand this. So what we are saying here, if the daughter is affected, so saying that the daughter is affected. Now daughter is affected means she's XC. Now see, definitely one father is XY. If she is getting both the disease traits, that definitely means that the father is going to give her an X only, because if it was a Y, it is a boy. So Y would go to the boy, but the X would come from the father, no? So if a daughter has the disease, what does this mean? That definitely the father also was diseased. Otherwise, from where will the other XC come? Mother may be heterozygous, or she may be completely normal as well. Okay, so here the chances of being completely normal is nullified, because Otherwise, she would have not had the disease. So either she could be completely normal XX, or she could, oh sorry, she can't even be, sorry, she can be either completely diseased XCXC, or she can be carrier XCX. Okay. So another point was, if the daughter is affected that and the father is also affected, it is an example of the X-linked trait. Now, what are the examples of diseases following this kind of trait? So the examples are, most famous example of hemophilia, which is a deficiency in one of the clotting factors, color blindness, glucose 6 phosphate dehydrogenase enzyme deficiency, and finally there is another disease called as Lishnian syndrome, which is a deficiency of the enzyme hypoxanthine guanine phosphoribosyl transferase. I'll repeat, hypoxanthine guanine phosphoribosyl transferase. Okay, so this is the type. And the next type is the Y-linked. Okay, now Y-linked is very simple. Now another name for the Y-linked is the Hollandric inheritance. So Y-linked inheritance is also called as the Hollandric inheritance. And the best distinguishing point is that only males are affected. No chance of a female being affected. So only males are affected. All sons of affected father are affected. So if you have a affected father, all sons are going to be affected. Okay. Important diseases that show this type of inheritance. So first is the ASMTY. What is the full form? Acetyl serotonin methyl transferase enzyme deficiency. This is an important factor for sex determination. Other one is SRY gene, again very very important. TDF, testes determining factor. Okay. And lastly, the full for other one is TSPY. Okay, that is testes producing factor. Okay, TSPY. So these are different diseases caused due to Y-linked inheritance, defected Y-linked inheritance. And the last type that we have to discuss is mitochondrial inheritance. Mitochondrial. Now, what about mitochondrial? So basically the trademark is, if the mother affected, all children are going to be affected. Because if you remember, during reproduction, when there is fusion of the gametes, the mitochondria comes from the mother only. So if mother has a defect in her mitochondria, but obvious all her progeny is going to have this problem. Okay, so this is very easy to identify. I hope you remember all of these and you keep in mind all the little pointers and tricks that I have given you. To learn more, please stay tuned to my channel, subscribe, like the video and share it. If you have any certain question you want to ask or any demand you want to make, please feel free to type it in the comments below. I'll see you in my next class. Bye.